guys, welcome back to the channel. As always, if it's your first time joining us, then just welcome in general. We're going to kind of take a little bit of a break from the Hurst Olds and jump back over to the Jeep and see if we can get some work done on this today. If you are unfamiliar with the Jeep, then there are a couple of other videos that I've done on it. This is a 1999 Jeep Wrangler Sahara. I inherited it from my aunt, who unfortunately passed away. Went down to Florida, got in it, not knowing anything about it, drove it all the way back to Illinois, and we've just kind of been addressing some little issues here and there along the way, but I've kind of turned it into my daily driver instead of my Tundra. It gets 1 or 2 miles per gallon better than my Tundra, but the main thing is this thing is a lot easier to park in crowded parking lots, so and they're just kind of fun to own and drive. If you did see the other videos, you may realize that I did finally get a new set of tires for it. The tires that were on it before didn't match front to rear, same size but different brands, kind of drove me nuts. Didn't really know how old they were for sure, but noticing that it was getting, it didn't have very good road manners. But everything with the suspension seemed tight, so I figured, all right, we're going to bite the bullet and we're just going to get a new set of tires. So what I got, set of 5 31 10.5 15 Goodyear Wrangler Duratracs. Went with the Duratracs because I had them on an FJ Cruiser that I had before, really liked the way they performed, so decided to go with those. Now, that brings us to what we're working on today. It does not have a lift on it at all right now, and it fits 31s just fine. You don't have to have a lift for 31s on a TJ, especially if you're not off-roading it, which this will never be taken off-road, at least not in a serious manner, for as long as I own it. But a couple of things. It does rub the front tires at full lock, turning left and right, so we're going to address that. Not a big deal. We're going to add a couple washers in the steering stops. And we are going to put a budget lift on it. It's just for looks. I think it would look better if it had a small 2-inch lift on it. So we're keeping it budget. We're just doing a spacer lift. I did get 4 new shock absorbers to go on it as well. I went with the Rancho 5000 shock absorbers. I was going to go with like a rough country lift. They're about the cheapest you can get. They get a bad rap. I had a rough country lift on my FJ. I actually really liked it. One of the things people complain about is how stiff they ride, and I actually really liked that on my FJ because it stiffened it up to where I thought it should be compared to factory suspension. However, the TJs, we'll be real honest, they don't ride that great to begin with. I don't want this riding any rougher than it already does, or within reason. So we're just going to keep with the stock springs, spacer lift. She's not going off-road, and then it's time for new shocks on it. So we went with the Rancho 5000s, and they're supposedly designed for a 2 to 3 inch lift. So should be good there. The only concerns that I have at this point with it are I may need longer sway bar end lengths or whatnot, but I'm not sure. Again, since it's not going off-road, the stock one should be fine for now. If one breaks, I'll replace them with some extended ones later. But for now, should be good to go. So let's get started with adjusting the steering stops. Alright, so up underneath the front end here, just in case you don't know, these right here are your steering stops, just a 9/16 bolt. You'll notice there's a jam nut up against the actual spindle. They put these in and set them to stop against this little bump on the knuckle here, and then they tack weld that jam nut on there. So 9/16, we'll back those out, and we're going to try it with one washer back behind it. Just a small 9/16 or not 9/16, a 3/8 flat washer on there, and we'll try it and see how it goes. Really doesn't take much to make a big difference. I've already got one in over here. You can see I've just got it back. I took it out, threw a washer in there, tightened it back down. You can see how close it is to that stop. And then you can see I can fit my hand now between the control arm and the tire. And it's right up on that. So we should be good with that. We're going to go ahead and put another washer on this one here so that controls when you turn to the other direction. And then we'll pull it off the lift and give her a shot and see if that's it. I had to do this on my daughter's TJ when she had hers. And if I remember correctly, just took one washer on each side and that took care of it. So we'll give that a shot and see how it works. All right, guys, so I went outside, checked it out. Steering stop situation is taken care of, so good to go on that. We're going to move on to the lift. The parts that I got, the lift is just a, like I said, spacer lift. Oop, dropping stickers. Anyway, I'm not going to call them no name because they have a name, but company I never heard of, Supreme Suspensions on Amazon. I don't know. It's a spacer and it's not made of rubber, so that's good. I didn't want rubber just because I know, over time rubber breaks down and they'll start to sag. These are like some sort of heavy resin, plastic, something or other. They're not metal. I thought they were metal when I ordered them because the pictures looked like they were some sort of black anodized aluminum with an engraved name on them. They are not. I went back and looked at the description. It does not say that they're metal. It says they're some sort of composite material or whatever. So it's not like there wasn't truth in advertising or whatever. I think they'll be fine. They're a spacer, not a big deal. The shocks themselves, front shocks are the Rancho RS 55239, and the rear shocks are the RS 55241. They came in a kit. They were 4 shocks. They were advertised as Jeep TJ 9706 with 2 to 3 inch lift. So we'll go with that. The lift did come with instructions. Basically tells you how to put it in. Essentially take off the wheels, unbolt the shocks. Might even tell you to take off sway bar links. Probably tells you to use a spring compressor. If we need to use a spring compressor, we'll use one. Otherwise, in theory, it should drop out enough to be able to get the springs out, I would think. Especially if we take off sway bar inlets and everything. So we're going to work on that. I'm going to time lapse that because otherwise this could be, a couple 2 or 3 hours. Hopefully that's all I have into it, of you just watching me ride the struggle bus on getting everything in by myself. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do. Probably going to do the back of it today, and then we got some plans this evening, and I'll hit the front in the morning. The front shocks did come with new bolts. Back shocks, we're going to reuse the existing. If you're like most Jeep owners anywhere in the Midwest, your Jeep is probably really rusty, so plan on struggling with it. I haven't had a single bolt on this one yet that's bought me, but it also spent its whole life in Florida and was garaged all the time. I did notice, just peeking around though, my bump stops are basically dry rotted and missing, so I will have to order some new ones of those, but I'm not real worried about it right now. We'll get to that when we get to that. So here we go with time lapse. So that wasn't too terribly bad. I hope it kind of came up in the time lapse, but you got to understand there's not a whole lot of room to get a camera in there as well. So did what I could. But basically, I mean, it's self-explanatory, and it does come with instructions. Raise it up, take the shocks loose, take the sway bar end links loose, pull down on the rear end, pull the spring out, take the cups that hold the little bump stops in normally, if you have them. I don't. Take those out. They're a 15 millimeter bolt. I think it was a 15 millimeter. Drop those out, push them into the new spacer, screw them back up in there, stick the spring back in, and put it all back together. It's not a big deal, but it made a pretty good difference. It doesn't look quite so dorky now. We'll see how it rides when it's all said and done. New shocks, you take the old ones out, put the new ones in. It's not a big deal. It's basically it's 2.5 bolts you have to take out, and I only call it 2.5 is because the one side and the top, you really just need to loosen it. You don't have to take it out all the way. But yeah, we'll see how it all works out when it's all together. Get going on the front. This would definitely be easier with a spring compressor. I don't know where mine is. I swear I had one. I don't know if I loaned it out to a buddy and I never got it back. I don't know. So hopefully we can get these out and back in without one. Otherwise, I'll be taking a trip to Harbor Freight tomorrow. So we'll see how it goes. I'll try to get you some more footage if I can get you fit in there. pretty much concludes the lift installation. Pretty straightforward. Haven't taken it for a drive yet, but I got Safe Light here replaced my wife's windshield for a rock chip, so I can't get out of my driveway right now. I'll take it for a spin, assuming everything is good to go. We'll just call this the end of the video. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share the video, all that good stuff. Got some more stuff we're going to do on the Jeep. I did pick up a new soft top for it. The top that's on it seals, but it's really faded, get kind of ratty looking, so picked up a new soft top for it. I put one on my daughter's Jeep back in the day, so I'm kind of familiar with how they go on. I'll, do a quick video on that. Also ordered some touch-up paint for the cowl. It's the only spot where the paint is bad on this Jeep, so we're going to make an attempt at painting that. Other than that, might have a couple of other little odds and ends, but basically I needed a break from the Cutlass for a while. Wanted to take care of some of the stuff on this. I will be taking this and getting it aligned so that we aren't trashing tires out. But other than that, that's pretty much it. Like I said, make sure you hit the like, hit the subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next video.